Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, people just don't seem to connect with you? You try to be nice, you try to say the right things, you even smile when you don't feel like it, but still, something's missing. People keep their distance. You wonder, what am I doing wrong? Here's the truth. The secret to making people like you has nothing to do with pretending, pleasing, or performing. It's about presence, mindset, and quiet power. It's about becoming someone who doesn't chase approval, but naturally earns respect. And today, you're going to learn how to do exactly that. Not with tricks, not with fake charm, but with ancient wisdom that has stood the test of time. Imagine standing in a room full of strangers, yet somehow, everyone is drawn to you, not because of your looks or words, but because of your energy. You don't have to be loud, you don't have to try hard. You're just there, calm, grounded, real. That's what the Stoics mastered. They weren't trying to be liked, they were trying to live with purpose. And in doing so, people followed them, admired them, trusted them. Because when you are rooted in truth, others can feel it. And in a world full of noise, truth is magnetic. So if you've ever felt invisible, unappreciated, or misunderstood, this is for you. Because what you're about to learn isn't about changing who you are. It's about revealing the strongest, calmest, most likable version of you that's already waiting beneath the surface. But first, you must understand this. People don't like you for what you say. They like you for how you make them feel. And you can't make anyone feel safe, seen, or understood until you first feel those things within yourself. That's where it all begins, inside. The Stoics had a saying, "Know thyself." Before you can be liked by others, you must be at peace with who you are. If your heart is full of self-doubt, your eyes will always seek approval. If your mind is full of noise, your words will never feel grounded. But when you know yourself deeply, your values, your purpose, your emotional triggers, you move differently. You speak from a place of calm. You listen with presence. You walk into a room without needing to prove anything. And that, in itself, is attractive. People feel it. They respect it. They're drawn to it. You don't have to impress people to be liked. In fact, trying too hard often has the opposite effect. It pushes people away. Why? Because desperation smells, and people can sense when you're not being real. But when you no longer need to be liked, when you show up as you truly are, flaws and all, that's when people begin to like you. Because deep down, we all crave something real. And realness, in this world of filters and facades, is rare. It's gold. Start by becoming deeply aware of how you think and feel. What excites you? What drains you? What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel small? When you're in conversation, notice how often you talk to be heard instead of listening to understand. Begin journaling your thoughts every day. Even if just a few lines, become your own closest friend. Because when you know what's going on inside you, you stop projecting your pain onto others. You stop blaming people for not seeing you when you haven't even taken the time to see yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." In other words, life is short, too short to fake, too short to beg for connection. So why not start living as your most honest self right now? Why not walk through life with quiet confidence, knowing that the right people will feel your energy and come closer without you having to force anything? You don't need to chase, you need to become. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Once you understand yourself, you begin to understand others. You stop reacting. You start observing. You learn to stay calm in conversations, even when emotions rise. Because you're no longer driven by ego. You're grounded in purpose. You can hear a sharp tone without getting defensive. You can receive criticism without crumbling, because you've trained yourself to respond, not react. And in a world where most people are triggered and reactive, your calm becomes a gift, a rare and beautiful presence that makes others feel safe. Think about it. When was the last time someone truly listened to you without interrupting, without waiting to speak, without judging? How did that feel? Peaceful? Seen? Loved? That's the effect you can have on others. But you must first create that peace within yourself. Take a breath before you speak. Slow your thoughts before you respond. Choose your words like a sculptor shapes stone, with care, with patience, with purpose. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Apply that to every conversation, every moment of tension, every misunderstanding. You don't have to control the world to be powerful. You just have to control how you show up in it. And when you master that, when you become the calmest person in the room, people will not only like you, they will respect you, they will remember you, they will trust you. But emotional control doesn't mean you become cold. It means you choose kindness without losing your boundaries. It means you give grace, but protect your peace. When someone speaks, listen, not just to their words, but to what they're not saying. Feel their emotions, reflect them back. That sounds really tough. I hear you. Thank you for sharing that. Simple phrases, but they hold so much power. Because most people go through life feeling invisible. If you can make someone feel seen, even for a moment, you will never be forgotten. The most likable people in the world aren't the loudest. They're the most present, the most aware. They don't interrupt to sound smart. They ask questions that show they care. They don't dominate. They include. They don't pretend to know everything. They say, "Tell me more." And that one phrase can change everything. It says, "I see you. I value you. I want to understand you." That's rare. That's powerful. That's what people remember. Now here's something most people miss. Likability doesn't come from doing one big thing. It comes from doing 100 small things consistently. Keeping your word, showing up on time, saying thank you and meaning it, making eye contact, smiling, not to fake, but to connect. Noticing when someone's quiet and checking in. Offering help without waiting to be asked. These are tiny actions, but together, they create something unforgettable. They build trust, and trust is the foundation of every deep connection. The Stoics believed in virtue, honesty, courage, patience, kindness. When you live with virtue, your character becomes your magnet. People like you not for what you have, but for who you are. You become someone they can count on, someone they want around, not because you're perfect, but because you're consistent. And in a world full of broken promises, consistency is rare. It's what turns strangers into friends, and friends into family. You also need to remember this. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. The goal is not to please everyone. The goal is to be so rooted in your values that you naturally attract the right people and gracefully let go of the rest. Rejection is not a sign you're unworthy. It's a sign you're growing. Because every time you choose to be real instead of liked, you build strength. And every time you walk away from needing validation, you get closer to freedom. Kindness is not weakness. Patience is not passivity. And humility is not self-doubt. These are the quiet powers of the Stoic path. When you walk it with intention, you stop needing to prove anything. You stop trying to win people. You start living as someone who already has everything they need within. And from that place, you give freely. You speak with care. You connect with depth. And people can't help but want more of you. Because what you offer is rare. You offer peace in a world full of chaos. You offer presence in a world full of distractions. You offer truth in a world full of masks. And that is unforgettable. So if you truly want people to like you, stop trying to be impressive. Start being intentional. Stop chasing attention. Start giving presence. Stop seeking applause. Start standing in your own quiet power. The more rooted you become, the more people will be drawn to you. Not by force, but by feeling. This is the Stoic way. Simple, honest, deep. It won't make you popular overnight, but it will make you magnetic for life. Because at the end of the day, people don't want perfection. They want connection. And when you live with calm, kindness, and courage, that connection happens naturally. Let this be your starting point. Know yourself. Master your emotions. Listen with your heart. Live with virtue. And never forget, who you are is more powerful than anything you pretend to be. Let that truth shine. Let it draw the right people. Let it lead you into deeper, stronger, more meaningful relationships than you've ever known. And if this message stirred something in you, if it felt like truth speaking softly to your heart, then stay with us, because this is only the beginning. There is more wisdom to uncover, more strength to awaken, and more of you waiting to be revealed. Until next time, walk calmly, speak kindly, and live fully.